Hi Lisa, thank you for purchasing a reading for me. Today we're going to be doing your Celtic Cross. I appreciate everything you had to say in your email. It was very kind of you. And thank you also for supplying me with the information that you did, because I think that'll definitely help me pinpoint exactly what to ask here for you today. So you told me a little bit about how you are the owner of a small business, or a budding business, and that your husband, who has business experience, is kind of unwilling to help you with that and help you expand your business into something even bigger and better. And that is creating tension between you and your spouse. So what we're going to be doing today is asking essentially what is the best thing for you to do in this situation. We're going to ask kind of generally about your small business situation, and hopefully get to see how that is interacting with your relationship situation. Okay, so you told me that you were a Libra, and so today we're going to be using for your significator the Queen of Swords, and that's going to go right in the middle here. So let's go ahead and shuffle up and see what we get. All right. So your overall situation is the Tower, crossed by the Fool, and crowning you is the Hanged Man, and underneath you is the Devil. Oh boy. All right. Hey, on the left you have Art, and on the right, oh my God, you have the Hierophant. I have never seen this before in my in 5 years of reading. I have never seen a spread where every single card in the main cross is a major. Wow. All right. Perspective is the Knight of Discs. Environmental factors are the Ace of Wands. Hopes and fears are the Six of Cups, and overall outcome is the Two of Wands. This is so funny. So your entire middle section is majors, and the entire right is minors. So what this kind of tells me is that there's a tremendous amount of external forces that you are not necessarily in control of with this situation, with your business. Obviously, it's a business like that is trying to get off its feet is clearly going to have a lot of going to affect a lot of different areas of your life and pull in a lot of different forces. I think. I've been criticized for saying "I think" a lot lately in my reading videos, but to heck with that. So I think what it's saying, to begin with, first off, what I'm getting for your overall situation is that this is something that you did not necessarily expect. I think that that whatever tension that you have been experiencing with your significant other, that you do care about quite a lot, I think, because on the bottom you have, I think he's down here as the Prince of Cups. He just, yeah. I would ask you if he keeps to himself, sort of, or if he's kind of secretive in one way. If he isn't particularly, he's not the type of guy who's going to be vocal about helping or giving advice or anything like that, because I think, based on the Prince of Cups here down in the bottom, knowing that personality type pretty well, I would suggest that your husband is perhaps an introvert, and so is naturally not really as engaged naturally, perhaps, as you would like him to be. But I think that what I'm getting here is you see this as really a big moment for you, that this is a big opportunity for you to exercise your ambition, particularly, with the devil on the bottom, this is definitely your baby. This is definitely something that you lay claim to and are very proud of, I think. And I think that perhaps the tower here is also hinting that um, you may feel that he is in his lack of interest in your business is a sign of him not being proud of you, or um, I think you're suffering from a bit of a confidence crisis here because of that, and I think that this is also because you know I feel like you, with art in your past, you have this. I think you have a strong, like I was saying before, you have a strong connection with your husband, and I think that you generally get along very well with him, and I definitely think that um, you feel that this is the right match for you. I don't think that that's necessarily in doubt or has not been in doubt until this point. And there's just this big excuse me. There's a lot of energy of surprises and shocks in this situation for you between the tower and the fool. There have been a lot of unexpected bumps and small catastrophes that have been popping up, and I think that I think you're trying very hard to stay calm and grounded and practical through this whole thing. You see yourself as the Knight of Discs, so you are perhaps seeing yourself as independent in this situation, which would make sense considering what you've told me. That this really is something that you can only do by yourself, and perhaps it's the lack of help that is so shocking to you because you thought that you had someone else on your team, and I think that that's what the shock is about. I think you had in some ways invested a little bit in this in your relationship with your husband. In the sense that I think you had expected him to be a lot more helpful for you and someone who could contribute his resources equally to yours. I see you as having compromised a lot with your with I think with your husband. You have you've tried very hard to make things work with each other and to compile things practically. And I think you see yourself as having to do this alone, and you don't quite understand why you have to do it alone necessarily. But I get that it's not necessarily. It's not entirely a bad thing. I'm going to get to there in a minute. Environmental factors are the Ace of Wands. I think that's pretty self-explanatory in that you have a new business venture going for you, and other people see you as being productive and as having this idea that you want to expand upon. I think others sense the potential here in your project, in your business as you're trying to grow it. I think others see that there is potential there for this to really expand for you. Um, I think that you I think you're going to get the advice that you're looking for. I think either he's going to turn around and start to appreciate this more, or someone else is going to help you. I think either way, you're going to get the advice that you're looking for and the guidance that you're looking for with the Hierophant in your immediate future. Again, whether or not that's your husband is not entirely clear to me, just because the Hierophant is resonating very strongly with the Devil here and the Knight of Discs, and both of those represent you. So, it could represent your husband being very close to you, or it could represent you taking your own initiative also, and learning things of your own volition, really, and trying to take matters into your own hands. I see you doing that already, really, just taking matters into your own hands and doing it yourself. But the other thing too is that you've got an interesting hope and fear card. You have the Six of Cups for your hopes and fears. And you at the same time want to maintain the sweetness of your relationship. Obviously, you care about him a lot, and you care for each other a lot, and you don't want to disrupt that because you feel that the emotions there are very pure and are very real, and the love is definitely there for you. And I think you're trying very hard to not disrupt that, and that's also what the Tower is saying. As far as that friction you were talking about in your email, the Tower is associated with war and fighting and difficulties as a result. There is no air in your situation. So you're not talking about it either. I think that you are, in a way, keeping to yourself about it in the same way that he is. I think the funny thing is that both of you seem to... I don't know. That doesn't make sense considering you have been having tension over it, but I don't know what kind of tension exactly you're having. Again, because I think he's kind of passive, and you also are being shown here as passive, with the Knight of Discs representing you, and as the Devil representing you to a degree too, that you have shown yourself to be capable of handling this on your own. The Devil could represent your husband too as someone who, as you said, has an MBA, has been successful in business, and in which case the Hierophant would definitely represent him. But I think the Devil can, with Major Arcana particularly, they can always represent more than one thing, and they often do. And I think you can interpret it either way. I think the best thing for you to do, based on what the Hanged Man has got up here for us, the Hanged Man is about taking it slowly and sort of relinquishing your own kind of agenda in this situation. It's very different from the energy that you're putting into it now. I think the Hanged Man is asking us to take a bit of a step back, particularly since we're concerned about our emotions here and concerned about remaining good to one another and kind to one another and loving. Since that is something that you want to maintain, I think that there is potential for bigger upset than has already been made manifest. And so, with that being the case, the Hanged Man would really be calling for a reprieve from that. There's a lot of very aggressive energy going on in the basis of your reading when that isn't entirely what you want. Your business is important to you and is obviously something that you've worked very hard on, but your relationship is also very important to you. So I think there's got to be some way of communicating about this that incorporates that sensitivity that you're looking for, but also your own needs. I think the Hanged Man is telling you to perhaps not push for it so much, to kind of let things take their course more. The Hanged Man is not a card, it is not a controlling card, and it is not a type of energy that recommends trying to muscle your way through anything, really. It's a card of complete passivity and complete patience, really. So the Hanged Man here would be telling you to, to take it easy a little bit and to kind of let things go a little bit. I want to ask, what else? The defining card to describe the Hanged Man that I pulled was the Magus, and there's so much. The funny thing is there's so much masculine energy in your reading, which is clearly, when a masculine energy is defining a female person, I think it's pretty indicative of your creative power. You are a very productive and very creative person, as the Magus is telling me, and I think that you are going to be able to figure out some of the business end of this yourself, and I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know that you necessarily need your husband, but I can understand how you would want your husband to be supportive and helpful through this. And I think maybe you should express it that way. You aren't looking for him to run the business for you. You're looking for him to just provide you with some guidance and some tips, and I don't see why he would be unable to or unwilling to do that for you, particularly since this is something that you're passionate about. This is something that is a really good idea for you, and this is something that you've put a lot of thought and planning into already, as the Three of Wands is saying in the bottom of the deck. Lust is also indicating that for me too, that I think Lust is sort of pointing both towards the Three of Wands here, for just indicating that this endeavor is something that you've got a lot of passion for and a lot of zeal, and you enjoy the business aspect of this. But I think it's also, as I was saying before, the Prince of Cups aspected by the Lovers would indicate to me that is your significant other, and Lust would be indicating to me that you also have very strong feelings. I think, I think that you feel a little torn here as far as where your allegiance should lie. And I think the Hanged Man, the beauty of the Hanged Man is that the Hanged Man is non-confrontational and is also independent in a way. The Hanged Man takes his burden by himself for the most part. And I think the Hanged Man is showing you, or is trying to show us, how you can find that balance between remaining independent, but also staying away from arguing or confrontation in any way. I think that confrontation is definitely, of any kind, is definitely not the way that you want to go here. I think that if you can try to what's the word I want? Sort of de-escalate whatever tension has been building. I think what is required is calm rhetoric and gentle and understanding rhetoric, and definitely don't push any buttons with this. I know that you're frustrated, and I know you don't quite understand why he is being the way he is, and I don't know that I really understand either. But I think that you can still rise to this, and you can still deal with this in a way that isn't going to necessarily hurt your relationship and not hurt your business either. I get the sense that this is going to go in a good direction for you any way that you spin this, your overall outcome, Lisa, is the Two of Wands, and this indicates to me that you are moving in a direction of self-empowerment that is going to continue to capitalize and build off of the potential that you have already created for yourself. I think the Tower is going to eventually blow over. I don't think that this destructive element is necessarily, well, it depends. I think that the Two of Wands. It's tricky because the Two of Wands is very, very similar to the Tower, so it definitely does carry in to our overall outcome. However, the Two of Wands is also a creative card, and it is less a destructive card than it is a creative card. It does have elements of destruction as well, however, but it is also piggybacking off of our Ace. I think I want to draw some extra for that. I'm just going to draw 2 extra cards to try to give us a little bit more information on your overall outcome. And we've got the 10 of Discs and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so this is good. This is definitely going to continue to be lucrative for you, and I think as the money comes in for this and continues to come in, this is not only going to be empowering for you, but it's also going to mend whatever holes have been established in your relationship. I think it's going to be an opportunity for you to start over a little bit, not start over entirely, but to fix whatever bruises and bumps you have accumulated with your husband over this. And it is not. I think that once it stabilizes more, and I think also, what could help is if you can market it to him like that and say, this is something that I want to be successful for both of us. This is something that I see as an investment for both of us and our family, and our living situation. This is something that can help that, and I think that you can spin this in a way that incorporates him more, and maybe makes him feel more like a team player or something like that. Because this is your business, and this is your thing, and I personally, I want you to keep your stamp on that, and I think that that's important for you to keep your personal stamp on it. But at the same time, I think learning to share that responsibility is perhaps something that we can look into gradually. For now, I think it's important for you to just calm things down and maybe just I'm not sure exactly what kind of conversations you've been having with him as far as asking for advice, but I think advice is going to come your way, as I was saying before. With the Hierophant, you're going to get the advice that you are looking for from someone or other. And I think that this is definitely, the business end of this and the relationship end of this are going to continue to grow for you. And I definitely think that this is not as bad a situation as it may feel right now. I think right now it feels very overwhelming for you just because there is a lot of dense stuff going on. There's a lot of Mishigas here, and I think that is overwhelming you and making you feel more under fire than you may need to. So remember to not react. Remember to think about things before you speak and act, and also to, again, remain patient and remain loving. Try to consider why he may be doing this, and try to, I don't know, I think there's got to be a good reason for him to be avoiding this, or whatever it is he's doing. I would like to think that there is a good reason for it, because I do think that, again, your relationship is solid, your relationship is good. It's not that he doesn't love you. I think there's something else there that that may just require time. He might just need some more time to turn around to it, or to be turned on to the idea. I don't know. I think as long as you can, um, continue reinforcing the idea that you don't want your relationship to become your business, and possibly that is something that he's afraid of. But I think that it could be beneficial for you to express that you're not necessarily looking for that either. I think you want to keep um, the good chemistry you have with your husband going, and I don't think that you also are looking for business to overcome that or overshadow that in any way. And maybe just expressing that is what you need to do. I think having a heart to heart may be useful, and a calm one, not heated, and just talk to each other about it. I think conversation, there's so little air here. There's so little real communication that I'm seeing here. It's mostly fire and earth that you have with some water, but there's no air to stimulate dialogue. And that worries me, considering that it just seems to be a very emotional situation, and a very high pressure situation. And I think communicating about it might not be a bad thing to do for you, and communicating about it in a way that is more lucid and less emotional, perhaps. So I hope that that makes sense. I'm trying to look for other things that you have here. There isn't a whole lot else. You have a tremendous amount of Mars energy in this reading, which also, is great for your productivity. I think the Fool as your crossing card is interesting, because I think that part of the other issue with this is that you feel like you're a novice about this, and that this is something that you're still very new with, and you have someone in your life who has more experience in this, and it's unclear as to why they don't want to help you, and I think you're taking it personally, and I don't know that they necessarily. I don't know that your husband is not helping you just because he doesn't like you or something, or doesn't want to work with you. Again, I think that there's something else going on there, something else that he's thinking deep within, that he's not necessarily sharing with you. That again, because if he is a Prince of Cups, if he is that kind of Scorpio type of personality, he tends to be secretive, and he tends to have a lot of different thoughts going on that he doesn't necessarily share, or feelings too that he doesn't necessarily share, and that can be problematic, considering that communication is already an issue. So, you know, maybe that's another thing that you can express too, because that the Fool really is the only source of air in your entire reading. There's very little otherwise, and the Fool, whatever communication is surrounding the Fool, just because it's an air card, it's aspected so strongly by the Tower. Whatever communication you're having is I think that you're just expressing your general frustration with starting this out. Your frustration with trying to learn things, and your frustration with getting a handle over something that's still pretty new and fresh for you. But but Lisa, as I was saying before, I'm reevaluating here. This is going to go well for you, and this is not going to stay in the mode that it has been. And I think that you are due for continued growth and continued learning and continued success with this, particularly financial. That's definitely coming for you down the road. So I hope that this gives you some stuff to think about, and I hope that it makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, or any feedback at all is appreciated, and let me know what you think. And I hope it helps. I'm very excited for you that your business is doing well and is going to continue to do well. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you about all this. And of course, I wish you the best of luck in all areas of this. And I just want to thank you one more time for choosing me to read for you today. And I hope it helps. And yeah, wish you all the best. So thank you very much, Lisa. Take care and good luck. Bye-bye.